81 points, another good game week for me. Please like, subscribe, go in the description and follow my Twitter, and please leave any questions you've got about fantasy football in the comments and I'll try and get them all answered. Okay, yeah, so the main problem obviously this week was not captaining Aguero. Cost me 20 points. I went for Salah, reasoning being that I looked like Crystal Palace gave up a lot of chances to Fulham last week, but obviously Crystal Palace were away last week and they look like they're going to be really hard to break down at home. So I am going to take the captain's armband off Salah every once in a while now. However, I'm going to keep it on Salah next week because when we look at the fixtures, it's Liverpool are at home to Brighton, and then City are at home to Newcastle, and then Fulham, and then Liverpool are at home to Southampton, and then City are at home to Brighton. So there is a really nice home rotation, so just keep leaving it on the home team between them. Other talking points for the week, I guess. King has probably got to go for me now. He's got an expected goals of 0.22 and he's only had 3 shots and none of them have been on target, so the stats aren't looking great for him. Another player who I'm wary about is Bernardo Silva. There's a few players in his position, the likes of Mkhitaryan and Pedro, that are really impressing me. We'll talk more about them later when we get onto the ones to watch, but Bernardo Silva, he didn't look great against Arsenal, but he got his goal and he was shoved out wide on the weekend and he didn't look too involved in the game out wide. I mean, when he comes centrally, he looked a lot better. He could have potentially had 2 goals, but I mean, so far this season, his expected assists is 0.16. He's only created 2 chances and he's created no big chances. However, his expected goals is a pretty decent 0.71. So I am going to stick with him for a few weeks. A incredible run of fixtures coming up. So yeah, I'm not in any hurry to sell him, but if the likes of Pedro and Mickey keep outperforming him. Wilson is second out of all the forwards in the games to only Aguero, and Ings is third. When we look at their penalty area touches, we can see that Ings is on 11 to Wilson's 12. When we look at their shots inside the box, we can see they're both on 8 apiece. So we can see that the stats between Ings and Wilson are really similar. Wilson is just edging it. However, I just think Ings is a better player. And the defenders, I have also brought in Alonso. So when we look at the stats, we can see the expected goals for Alonso is a whopping 0.58 for a defender, and Davis is all the way down at 0.2. Expected assists, however, Alonso is pretty disappointing, 0.19, and Ben Davis is 0.75, I think second highest to Robertson. The goal attempts for Alonso is 6, and to Davis is 5, and chances created for Alonso is 3. For Ben Davis is 5, so the stats are pretty neck and neck. So it may seem a strange decision to sell Ben Davis, but when we just look at the fixtures, Newcastle, Bournemouth, Cardiff, West Ham in the next 5, compared to Manchester United, Watford, Liverpool, Brighton and Huddersfield in the next 5. So I think in the long term, Kieran Trippier is probably going to be the defender that I'm going to want in this position. Mainly because he had a whopping 14 crosses in one game, making him, I think, second to only Trent Alexander-Arnold for crosses amongst defenders, but Trent's played a game more than him, so obviously most of that comes down to him being on set pieces, but that's exactly what you want, an attacking fullback who's on set pieces and plays in a team with a decent defence. So, Now if we move on to the midfielders, James Maddison, someone who looked very good last week, is actually someone I'm not considering anymore, with expected goals of 0.17. and an expected assists of 0.09. I mean, he's still not an awful option because he's on set pieces, but I do think there are now a lot better options at that price range. I think if you're looking for a cheap midfielder, I think Ryan Fraser's chances created of 5 and league high big chances created of 3, and his expected goal involvement of 0.95 could be the one to look for, especially when you look at his fixtures. Bar the Chelsea game, they are looking very good. Now, 2 players who I am looking at, mainly because of the fixtures. If we look at Mkhitaryan's, you can see how good they are. Same goes for Pedro, not quite as good, but still really strong fixtures. Now, the expected goals for Pedro is 0.77 compared to Mkhitaryan's 0.68, and the expected assists for Pedro is 0.11 compared to Mkhitaryan's 0.45. Their goal attempts, Pedro's had 7 to Mickey's 5, and their chances created, Pedro's created 3 to Mkhitaryan's 7. I do think Mkhitaryan is a better option, but I do think Pedro is really going to thrive this season in that Callahan role, sort of coming into the box late and really attacking the space and getting on the end of a lot of chances. Another player to keep in the back of your mind actually is Aubameyang with Arsenal's incredible fixtures. Obviously, last week people were talking about selling Aguero, and now he's essential. With the fixtures that Arsenal are about to embark on, Aubameyang could fastly become a must-have. Okay, so if we move on to my team for next week, the starting 11 actually looks really good. Goalkeepers, again, bit of a tough decision there. I mean, I've got it on Hamer currently just because I think Cardiff are not really a Premiership side, and I do think that's a bit better. However, I do think Watford have a stronger defence, so that really is just a coin toss. The captaincy still on Salah, we discussed that earlier, and unfortunately Wan-Bissaka's injury has left me benchless. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to next week. I think I've got a really strong team and I think I should have another good week.